Hey everyone, Daniel Whitlow here. So now that in my last video, or one of my last videos, we got the high crop back together in one. That freed up my jack stand, so it's time to split our 3010 here. So this is our 1963 John Deere 3010. We believe the synchros, or at least one of them, went bad in it. My father-in-law was going from 6th to 8th and never got into 8th, and it was just kind of lost in neutral there. Turns out because that was the third range and technically the guards prevented it, we have reverse and that's it. So I was able to manipulate the linkage here and confirm that, and that's how we got it here in this shop. We just drove it in reverse. But I had taken apart the shifter mechanism. Everything there is fine. So almost positive it's just synchro. So unfortunately we got to split this tractor. This will be something new for me. So I've got everything kind of set up and ready to go, other than actually taking things apart. So I plan for this to kind of be a multi-video series. So if this is just this is the first video you're watching, be on the lookout for more videos, or check out, once I've completed those other videos, I'll have a playlist where they're all together. So thankfully this should be a single split right here, but I was going to take you through kind of step by step. We got the service manual and go through everything we need to get this thing going again. So let's get at it. Alright, so on our right side of the tractor, I got a few simple things down here. First off, removed batteries, battery boxes, disconnected batteries, of course, to do all of that. Both sides. I got the oil drained, looked like 2 5-gallon buckets worth. And then manual, one of the first things is talking about disconnecting these shifter rods. I don't know that you had to actually disconnect the rod, but the way they were for me, it seemed like you had to take these off to have room to get the rod out. So I got these off. I'll go ahead and set them to the side and move on to the next step. All right, now it's a matter of disconnecting a bunch of hydraulic lines. So you've got the rock shaft. This is the inlet line disconnected there. Supposed to disconnect the 2 brake lines, so that's the outer ones going into the brake valve here. This line, I don't know if I'll just end up replacing it or trying it. Could not break this free until kind of the very end, so I don't know how twisted that line got. Next, I gotta, I think, take off some stuff back here, but we'll do the rock shaft control cable. And going around to the other side, we have hydraulic line here. And what did it say? This was steering return line. That one's undone also. These lines that are, I don't know what you want to call them, just the hard lines, you know, they get pretty stuck around here. I think it was Maple Grove Farms mentioned like taking an air hammer and gunning it for a little bit. I don't really have one of those. I should probably get one. But anyway, I just kept working some of these back and forth. Like I mentioned, the one brake line wasn't easily coming free. It's a much smaller line, so it twists real easily. These ones finally came, but if you guys have advice how to break those free, I'd love to hear it and maybe help others. Now, to get to that rock shaft control cable, and honestly, to get the top shaft of the transmission out, we're going to have to take this whole rock shaft assembly off anyway. So I'm going to take these covers off. There's 2 bolts on the front down low, and then gotta take the light off. All of this stuff, the covers, I'll show you here in a second, will come off. Alright, so with these covers off, your rock shaft control cable connect is right there. I'll pop that off. I don't think there's anything in particular really holding that on. Now I know a comment some of you guys might have is, yeah, it would have been good to have this pressure washed off beforehand and whatever. Well, didn't know we were going into it, and I'm not just gonna use the pressure washer here in the shop and make a mess everywhere. And another thing I had done already when I started the video was I already had the operator platform off, and like the clutch return spring off. Yeah, that's real simple. Anyone should be able to figure that out. So, all right, we'll get that cable disconnected and see what's next. Before I actually split the tractor, since I might be able to access this better with the skid loader, I may get everything disconnected here to pop this off, the whole rock shaft. All right, so I realized in order to take that rock shaft housing off, there was that line that went through here and over here up to there. I went ahead and took that line off. That way I can just lift this off. There's also, for this rock shaft control cable, there's a little keeper under here that you loosen up so that eventually we'll be able to pull this cable out. I think I'll just do that once I remove the rock shaft, make that real easy. There was also a set of like keepers here for these lines. You can see where the metal is bare right there. So I took that off, and then we're gonna go around and take off these lines going in to the hydraulic remotes, so that hopefully, these lines go up underneath the dash. I don't see much point in undoing them up there because the way they go in the bottom there and then come up, I don't see how the front half of the tractor will split. So my goal is to disconnect them here, and then maybe with the rock shaft housing off, when we go to split, we'll see if we have enough give in them to lift them up and move them over, or maybe we do just disconnect them there kind of loosely to get them out of the way. We'll find out, see what we got here. But anyway, moving on to remove these lines. And also the next step in the manual was disconnect all of our electricals, like a rear lamp, all that wiring goes up to the front. We got to disconnect that. So I'll trace my wires here for my tail lights and front lights and see where the disconnects are. All right, so I've been wondering why my flashers and things haven't been working right. I wonder if this has something to do with it. Anyway, I'm mainly recording this to tell myself how these wires went in this. So red's on top. Blue is the line coming from the bottom. This may be useless telling myself this because if I go to replace this, I might have to figure it out anyway. But all right, yeah, and we got these lines undone. Good news, we got a lot of play in them, so that should help us be free of that. All right, so we're looking under the dash here, and I'm realizing wiring wise, it's easier just to disconnect from here, feed the wires out, and then take them back. So 2 wires going to the back are the set of green and yellow there, kind of to the bottom right. And again, I'm doing this for my own self. And then black and red there. I hate messing with wiring. So this green one, I'm actually gonna have to disconnect here because it gets tied into a bunch of other stuff. And then there's, from that line going back there's also this red goes into white. And so it looks like someone taped that up, so I'll disconnect that there. So white to red, eventually green to green. All right, so underneath here we got our front PTO, and you got this cover here. Pretty straightforward, 2 studs on top, 2 bolts on bottom. And if you're like me, you don't know where your chisel screwdriver is, so to start separating it, you use a good screwdriver, and you hope you don't ruin a good screwdriver. Thankfully I didn't here, and now I know what I'm going to ask for Christmas is a set of chisel like screwdrivers. So anyway, that comes off. Don't be like me and Forget that there's some oil there, even because the drain is back there. So yeah, I didn't have my bucket under it right away and got oil everywhere. So yeah, just a tip for you, I guess. And then while I was down here, I realized there was another brake line, this one here, that I had to undo. At this point, you can see I got the seat off. I am ready to loosen all the bolts to split it, and ready to loosen the bolts and take the rock shaft housing off. Alright, so we got the rock shaft housing off here. That went pretty smooth and clean. I just lifted it out of here with the skid loader and chained it up. So we'll get that covered up, and then I've got all of the bolts loose in here to split. And yeah, oh, there was one line I forgot to undo, that line right there before getting off the rock shaft housing. And yeah, it's time to split now. All right, we got it apart. I need to cover all of this up. I'm done for the day. And rolling it away went fairly easy. We actually had to pull it apart with a little like gator thing. So, all right, time to get that top shaft out in another video. Well, thanks for joining everyone for this episode or video. So in the next video here, I will be taking out that top shaft and taking the synchros apart and hopefully working on them. And hopefully we'll get all of this back together. Hopefully it'll go back together as smooth as it came apart. I think it'll be a little bit more challenging. So if you guys have any questions, you can email me anytime at danielfarmchannel@gmail.com. Let me know what advice and tips you guys have, for myself or for other people watching. And if you got any projects yourself working on, I'd love to see some pictures of things like that. So email me anytime. So hopefully you guys learned something. This is my generally first time doing this, other than when I split my high crop, which was a little bit of a different story. So I am no means an expert. So take that as you wish. Don't criticize me too much. But yeah, I look forward to getting this tractor back together. So we'll talk to y'all later.